Big news, not so old news. Snowflake decided to host their own large language models, LLMs. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with GPT, and in particular with ChatGPT. So that's why even if ChatGPT is an external product, I will show you also side by side how you can integrate Snowflake with ChatGPT and compare all these LLM functions exposed here, starting with complete and going into the specialized, more specialized functions into sentiment, translate, and so on. Uh, how this compares to ChatGPT? We'll see this. We'll have a look at this, and you learn how to eventually build some small Streamlit applications with these LLM functions. And once again, side by side with ChatGPT as well. We look as usual at access rights. We look at cost because the cost will be very different here. Yeah, it's very similar somehow to how other uh, LLM LLM companies, yeah, charge like ChatGPT, yeah, for instance, because they are charging per tokens, and they are even if you pay for, you still have quotas. You have some limitations there. You cannot just call these functions again and again and again. Later on, yeah, definitely we'll talk about LLM extensions. I call them LLM extensions for Snowsight because based on these LLM functions, they built also some new features that can make your life even easier in Snowsight in their web UI. We'll be talking about Snowflake Copilot, about Universal Search, about Document AI. They gradually come up with these features. They are not even available. They just came up with a public preview with Copilot just a few days ago, and Document AI at this time is not available yet. You don't have a public preview, yeah. But my intention is to keep this course updated, and I will update you as soon as they come up with something else. And talking about side by side comparison with ChatGPT, I will come up also with some small programs using LangChain and Llama Index. I'll come up with some brief introduction into deep learning, generative AI, and LLMs. Because, yeah, definitely we'll talk about LLMs, but all this evolved. Yeah, we didn't talk too much about deep learning, about TensorFlow or PyTorch, but definitely you'll have to deal here with the large language models which are also based on neural networks. And you see, everything in data science evolves so quickly because yesterday we were talking about deep learning, about neural networks and so on, and they came up suddenly just a few years ago with transformers. That led to generative AI, that led to LLMs, to ChatGPT, and as you know, everything else is history.